I'm sure we all know that women, to some extent, are overshadowed by men, and millions suffer in silence as their work gets stolen and recredited to their more capable male coworkers. We've experienced this firsthand while growing up in China, a country that puts males on a high pedestal while only valuing females as housewives. Many have tried to combat this gender inequality, but only a few have attacked it at the root, which is why we're here today to introduce Invisible Her. So firstly, we're going to talk about the background and rationale before moving on to our project plan, consisting of our timeline, human resources, and risk evaluation, as well as finances, and then going on to our execution.
EnVisibleHer is an international nonprofit organization that provides underrepresented women with deserved recognition and support the next generation of young females in pursuing higher education by supporting them financially. We carry out streaming initiatives, charitable donations, education blogs and workshops, and lastly, our new design database. Our audience are mainly focused on gender equality activists as well as the female students at our school, particularly those at our school's DECA club. Our objections, including to generated $2,000 for net donation amount, 300 followers and subscribers on our social media, and lastly, to have 100 attendees for our workshop.
So to help achieve our goals, we have identified our target audience, and this is what set us apart from other organizations. So our priority is youth, followed by high school students and university students, with a low emphasis on adults. And the visual on the right illustrates our expanding reach. So starting from the center of the circle with the girls at our school and working our way out. And we will achieve this by involving operations in every market, tapping into the interests of consumers for better engagement, and lastly, keeping in mind for open feedback.
To break the chain of the inequality, let's dive deep into the issue. Despite making up half of the population, only 0.5% of the historical record focused on women. Income inequality persisted, with Canadian women earning 89 cents of every dollar men make. Furthermore, education disparities are evident, with only 39% of rural girls attending secondary school, highlighting the systematic roots of the inequalities.
So we have decided on two main impact groups, our local community as well as society. So in terms of the local community, we have structured our events and team to be centered around three main pillars, those being the leadership development, women empowerment, as well as community building. And secondly, for society, research shows that having more women in the workplace especially can increase not only diversity of thought but also collaboration, which helps break gender stereotypes and in turn fosters healthier work environments.
Moving on to the timeline. Firstly, we had a stationary sale on October 15th and 2 times bake sales in December. Meanwhile, sponsorship outreach occurred mainly between September and November, and we took part in the Civitas pitch competition on November 23rd. Secondly, regarding the raising awareness, we have been writing education blogs since the February 2023, and our monthly workshop and interviews with industry leaders began mainly in November. Next, since September, we have reached for partnerships with charities and NGOs, as well as starting the development of our search engines in November. Our database, we code the testimony of our database mainly in February, and in approaching March and April, we plan to increase the scale of our database. At the end of the April, we were going to add some new features to our database, and lastly, in the incoming May, we're going to carry out a user test and change according to the feedback. This project would not be possible without our amazing team. I'm the Chief Executive Officer, and Lena is the Chief Marketing Officer. Other Chief Officer assists us on human resource, operation, and finance. After our team recruitment, we have a team of 27 executives from 10 more different countries, achieving the impact internationally.
So here's our risk evaluation and mitigation strategy in case any problems come up. So the left graph assesses the risk based on likelihood and consequence, according to the graph on the table to the right, which is our risk implication and recommendation model, which details the four main areas of risk, what it may look like, and also recommendations. So, for example, technical risks may look like our website or our search engine having bugs, as well as our search engine having errors or unwilling partners and sponsors. And the recommendation for this would be to network with web developers and designers and hiring people with related experiences. And the graph on the left is gonna put all of these problems into a evaluation, which evaluates are based on consequence and likelihood. So dealing with the most consequential and most likely problems ensures proper resource allocation before moving on to the less likely and less consequential areas.
Here's a video summarizing all the things we do for community in this format. Regarding finance, we secured the first place in the project served us and were awarded $1,200. Furthermore, we generated $366 in revenue through stationery sales and $522 through 2x bake sale. Besides that, our sponsor contributed $200, bringing the total revenue to $2,338. After deducting the cost of money to $268, we achieved a net amount of $2,070. We use various strategies for raising awareness. Weekly education blogs cover here's some weekly education blogs covers historical events and figures with our Instagram of 425 followers and 5K views. Team recruitment involves team who are passionate to help. Our 32 members English branch is expanding. Monthly workshop with female professional, attracting hundreds of attendees, and interviews help us feel new ideas through the networking. We have divide our efforts in community impact into two categories: partnerships involving expanding on other organization platform, where effectively marketing allows us to further influence our community. Lastly is our newly created database. Here's a testimony version. Includes females who contribute to their respective area. Here's what we have already viewed. You can easily find women in various fields by simply typing the area you are interested in, and you will have the access of the unbiased and peer-edited articles written by our executives and other prestigious organizations. In this way, we think we can motivate girls to pursue a career in male dominated areas by proving them there have been females who are doing great, and they can do it as well. It will be launched at the end of the 2024, and we expected a user base of 2,000 by the end of 2024. Based on our social media followers amount. Additionally, features like AI co-writers will be added to the browser, and the view history columns will be added for users to easily reference whenever they need it.
So in our project, we've made and identified 4 key metrics to help us achieve success. So those being financial performance, program impact, volunteer engagement, and marketing metrics. So financial performance, our initial amount was to donate $2,000, and we surpassed that by $70 by donating to Plan International Canada, a grand total of $2,070. And a program impact, we have a goal to reach 100 audiences per workshop, which achieved over that is an average with a dissatisfaction rate of under 5%, as well as a volunteer engagement of 300 hours, which is surpassed by 24 hours. And lastly, for marketing metrics, we surpassed all of our projected numbers on our social media.
That's the end of our presentation. Thank you so much for listening.